Okay, reviewers, ready? Ready?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Alright, how many of you have heard of Glenbrook North High School? Alright, one person. How many of you have heard of John Shire? Alright, so more of you. So Glenbrook North High School is famous for being the high school that John Shire went to. But their name is also well known for something else. Okay, so that didn't work, but basically what that was a video from 2003 of a powder puff football game where the senior girls play the junior girls, and a lot of high schools have powder puff football games, but this one got out of control, and that was a clip from CNN of what happened, and one of the girls talking about personally that she had pig guts thrown on her, she was strangled with pig intestine, they had animal and human feces thrown at them, they were beat. One girl left with 10 to 15 stitches in her head, and I was an incoming freshman at Glenbrook North High School. I'm from Northbrook, Illinois, and my family personally knew people on both sides of this hazing. We knew girls who were seniors who were doing the hazing, and we knew girls who were juniors who were the ones being hazed. So I personally got to firsthand see the impact that it had on both of them. And today I'm going to talk to you about hazing and what a major issue it is in our society today. So we're going to talk about what is hazing, we're going to talk about why people haze, where hazing occurs, some of the impacts of hazing, and how we can stop it. So first, to better understand what hazing is, let's define it. So hazing is any action taken or situation created to intentionally cause embarrassment, harassment, or ridicule, and it can be humiliating, demeaning, intimidating, and exhausting. So hazing can get out of hand and lead to hazardous hazing, as defined by Student Health Services. So hazardous hazing can cause lasting physical and emotional harm, as well as possibly lead to death. So in an article written on hazing by Brian Hansen, he cites two specific examples that I want to share with you today. First, Scott Kruger, a freshman from New York at MIT, went into a coma and died after binge drinking 15 shots of whiskey during a hazing ritual for the now banned fraternity Phi Gamma Delta. And second is Walter Jennings, who was only 18 years old, died at the State University of New York after being forced to drink pitcher after pitcher of water, later being found passed out from the swelling of his brain due to water intoxication. So these are just two of thousands and thousands of examples of the detrimental possibilities that can occur in response to hazing. So now that we've seen some of the effects of hazing, why does it still occur? So here you have the blueprint of hazing. It shows that new members, when a new member joins a group, a fraternity, a sports team, they're the ones who are hazed, they become the victims, and then when their hazing is over, they become the bystanders, and as their status in the group rises, and they become more comfortable in the group, they become the perpetrators. So this is a vicious cycle here, but it must be broken, and later we'll talk about how it can be broken. So in addition, according to InsideHazing.com, the perfect storm theory explains why hazing occurs. So according to Darwin's survival of the fittest, it explains that we have the desire to seek a group we feel comfortable with and we can connect and identify with. And it's part of human nature to feel that hazing is part of the process to see who's quote-unquote fit to be part of this group. So the perfect storm theory says that hazing isn't meant to leave long-lasting physical or psychological damage. However, the groups get out of hand with the hazardous rituals and traditions, and that's why hazing can be so detrimental. So we've looked at why hazing occurs, but where does hazing exactly occur? So according to Hank Newer's book, Wrongs of Passage, he says that hazing can occur basically anywhere, mainly in sports teams, as you can see from the graph here. Gangs, sports teams, fraternities, and sororities, and there are tons of other groups that, as you can see, where hazing occurs, but those are the main ones because they have a tradition to haze. It was done to them, so people feel that it's right and they should do it. So some of you may be thinking, what's the big deal of hazing? However, hazing can leave lasting effects on the individuals involved. So up here you can see some of the impacts of hazing. These are just a few of them. Alcohol problems, stress, poor nutrition, inconsistent sleeping patterns, illness, relationship difficulties, and finally legal issues. And under these general categories that I just listed, you can see that there are specific examples that can come from each of these general categories. So if the pictures that you've seen and the facts that I've shared with you aren't powerful enough, here's some real-life statistics from InsideHazing.com about the effects of hazing and how prevalent it is in our society today. So from all the bolded numbers, you can see how high they are. 79% of NCAA athletes report being hazed initially in high school, and this one also, as of February 12, 2010, the number of recorded hazing, pledging, rushing-related deaths in Greek life stands at 96. So these are just some statistics that show you how prevalent hazing is in our society today and how big of an issue it is. So you've seen what happens, you've seen what hazing is, you've seen who it's done to, and you see some of the effects that it can have, but what can we do to stop it? First, as I talked about before, the cycle. It's a vicious cycle, but you have to realize that it can be broken. By learning about it, by being conscious of the dangers and consequences of hazing, by educating other people, we can begin to stop hazing and prevent other people in the future from dying or from being severely hurt from hazing. You need to learn to draw the line between tradition and cruel hazing. I'm in a fraternity myself, and this past semester I was one of the new member educators. And there are a lot of things that the fraternity has done in the past and things that we still do, but it's important to realize that you have to draw that line between what's tradition and what is going to be detrimental to someone's health. And you also need to realize that your own safety comes first and that there's safety in numbers. And if you feel like you're being hazed or someone's being hazed, get a group of people who agree with you and walk away. That's all that needs to happen. So in conclusion, we've looked at what hazing is. We've seen that it happens all over the place to all different people. We've seen the extremely negative impacts that it can have, and I hope that you'll take this to heart and be more aware of this, whether you're on a sports team, whether you're in Greek life, or you're just a bystander. So thank you very much for your attention to this important issue, and I hope you'll take this to heart. Thank you.
Yes.